Okay, we are up. For 1 second, 2 seconds, hontoni cross your fingers. I tested last night, a couple of hours I tested this. I streamed to recording. Twitch has no sandboxing, it seems. Audio is low. Okay, I'll boost it. We've gone back to our previous settings here. Testing, audio. Hi. Okay, good morning, gang. Good morning. I've put the audio at max. There's no cut on it at all. Still very low. Well, I'm going to have to speak up. The audio is plugged directly into the video feed, and it's at max. There's no cut on it at all. Look at the light from over in the ninjas. That's a reflection from something. I'm adding gain. I'm at max. I'm at 0.0 dB here. Just a minute. Let's see what's going on. The mic is on my shoulder. The mic is right here. It's up at 100. I mean, it's at 0.0 dB. Testing. 1, 2, 3. It's plugged right in. Here's the outside. Okay, it has been insane this morning. Can barely hear. What crap. Okay, let me take the mic. Careful of yours. I'm going to unplug the mic and plug it into a different place. 1 sec. Just be careful. Ready? 3, 2, 1. That didn't get us anywhere. Okay. All right. Okay, let's do this. As you can see, it's going to be a tracing stream today. And we're casting. I've got the iPad here with an image inside it. We're going to trace on top of it. I'm casting to a window on the Mac, and the broadcasting software is picking up that window, and it looks like this. So this is the iPad streamed to the Mac going into the broadcasting software. And I think we should be okay on this. We've tried it before. This is how we did the octopus. And my job today is to try and do the first step on making the hunchta, the preparation for making this print. And those of you who don't know what's going on, I'll be making this print over the course of the next month, January into February. No, whatever, February into March, January into February. Right, Dave? And this will be my job for the next couple of months. We're going surfing. This is what the surfing hints have all been about for the past couple of months. And there is, I guess, we can make it here now. We can make a bit of an announcement. Okada Yoshio-san died. I was supposed to do this the other day. He died on the 31st of January 1 year ago. Okada Yoshio, the man who designed the prints that I made, that I first bought when I first came to Japan, the Genji Monogatari prints. I met him a few times over the years. I went to his house. He came to my place. We talked about this. We talked about that. We had the idea always that I would make prints from some of his designs. He passed away last year. I didn't really get to the point where I could move forward with the project. We're full of our own life, whatever, and he didn't specifically ask me. He died a year ago. I wrote to a generic letter to the house where I had visited. It bounced back, nobody known. And it turned out that he had moved away from there at the time of the big earthquake in Tokyo and gone somewhere. Not the time for a long, long, long story here, but the thing is, we spent half a year tracking down his heirs. And we'll talk, we're going to make a video about this. So there's going to be lots and lots of video about this project, so we'll talk about it as it goes. Point being, as of a couple of weeks ago, we have the rights to make woodblock prints from all of Okada-san's designs. The ones that have, what's the word? The ones that have confirmed copyright. Someone's asking here, I thought you would do some of the Genji Monogatari ones. This was our first plan. That particular series, among all of his other works, that particular series, the copyright is vague. It's unknown. His heirs are working with a lawyer, trying to figure out what's going on. We don't know whether he sold the designs or whether the publishers simply licensed them to use. There is no paperwork surviving. So for our first project, we can't use the Genji prints. We have lots and lots of plans for Okada-san's work. There are kabuki prints, there are Genji prints, there are miscellaneous erotic female prints, there's all kinds of stuff. He has shunga, there's, you name it, there is a massive, massive, massive base of images. But to start with, we need one, something on which the copyright is clear. This one is. Something that we can make within a single reasonable time frame. I can do this. Something that will be popular, and when we try and sell it, that's this. This image fits all of those criteria. So rather than try a subscription series yet, rather than try a massive Genji series yet, we're going to start with a single project. You can see it on the bench. There's going to be tons of video, close-up carving, all kinds of work, but I have got to get going on it now. I'm not going to zoom out, we're going to zoom in because, well, you've seen the image, right? I didn't prepare a copy of the image. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Let's see if I can get it here. Right you are, sorry. This is the image. It won't stay outside again, whatever. It is what it is. Remember, we're guessing. This is the image. It was created in 1974, and it was published in a book. It wasn't published first as a woodblock print. It was published in a book called Onna Ezoshi, a book of women. And Okada-san's idea was that he would be the modern-day Utamaro. He would visit the places where women worked professionally, and he would capture their real stories and their real images. And this was in the 1970s. He also licensed it as a woodblock print back then. And we'll see it here and there on the internet as a limited edition special woodblock print. We're going to make it, of course, in an open edition. Come on, iPad, give me the menu, please. Anybody know how to bring up the undo menu on Pixelmator? Drag in from the left, no. Drag down from the top, no. Double tap on the picture, no. Drag 2 fingers in from the left, no. How do I bring up the undo menu? 3 fingers. 3 fingers in from the left? No. 3 finger tap? No. Drag from the top, that gives me the notifications. Drag up from the bottom, that's the dock. My mother's here. 2 finger double tap. Nope, that brings the picture up. That's cool. I need the undo menu, which is at the top, and the menu to select tools. Oops, that's gone. Single tap, that just gives me a red dot. I now have 10 things to undo. I've messed up this picture. Great start to our stream here today. Any ideas, gang? I can change layers. I can add another layer. That's not what I wanted to do. How do we bring up the Pixelmator Tools palette? Another red line. I've got now 10 things to undo. I wonder how many undo levels there are. Using the pen, it's just going to draw a line. Yeah, it just draws a line. Now I've got red marks all over this thing. This is a great start to our stream. I need the tool menu from Pixelmator. At the top, I have nothing at the top. If I drag the image and pull down, nope, it bounces back up. Shaking the thing doesn't do anything. Pixelmator. You can undo any changes. Tap undo at the left side of the toolbar. There is no toolbar, of course. There's no Command Z on my keyboard. I'm working with an iPad. It's a Pixelmator, and there was, at the beginning of this morning, there was a toolbar at the top, and there was a thing at the left that had different menus on it. They are gone. There's no 3 dots anywhere. I have the layer menu with a plus, and there is no tool menu anywhere. Shaking it hasn't changed nothing. Banging it changes nothing. Choose Edit Undo from the Edit menu at the top of the screen. Thank you. Yeah, that's helpful. There is no freaking Edit menu. Touch and hold. This might be a good idea. Touch and hold. 3, 2, 1, 0. That gives me a magnifier window. Double tap. 1 finger. No. Double tap. 2 fingers. No. 3 fingers. 4 fingers. I'm running out of ideas anyway. It says to tap the top to bring the bar back. Hey! Eggs, eggs, chocolate eggs, chocolate eggs. Now undo once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. How many is it going to go? Let's keep going. We got it. 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 Okay, guys, let's try tracing. You said the mic was sounding normal for a few seconds. Okay, there is something to do with the mic. I can try it. The mic at the moment is it's a 4-prong mic plugged into a 3-prong plugged into the interface. Let's try this. I'm going to unplug the mic again. Just 1 sec. Are we back? We're back. It's funny how he thinks we can hear him. I know you can't hear me, whatever. I want to go home. Okay. Compressor limiter from last time. I turned them off. They're turned off. Nope. I'll check again. Just 1 sec. I've cleared all filters. All the filters are off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tap the left corner of your forehead. Okay, whatever. Okay, please. Sorry about this. Okay, let's try and do this. Okay, a couple of things about this. What we're going to do. You can see the image here. We're going to reproduce it, of course, as a woodblock print. There's a number of questions. There's huge, huge number of questions about how to do this. You can see, I can't point on the screen here, you can see the various colored levels in the background. There's a light teal, a medium teal, a darker teal, and an even darker teal. And we have to decide how many levels to work on this. For example, the lighter teal could be underneath all the teals. And the way you darken it is by printing once, printing twice in some areas, printing 3 times, and printing 4 times. But to do that, you have to carve all the patterns then, almost all the patterns, 4 times. And that's not really a sensible way to do things. So there's going to be 4 separate teal blocks. The lightest, the next step up, the next step up, and the darkest. But one place where they all have to line up is the edge of the overhanging wave. That place needs an outline. And that's the place that I'm going to trace today, or going to start to trace today. This place, where the overhanging wave comes in, has to be defined so that we can make all of our color blocks. So let me try and get started here. I've just been talking, whatever. Let's just get some work done here. I need a red brush. I'm going to work at a 50% opacity. And I'm tracing in a layer over the top. Let's see what the size is like here. Get my glasses. That will do it. We just need to define where the edge of this thing is so we can make all the color blocks. We can make them all match. I think we're a little light here. Let's go up a bit in opacity so I can see what I'm doing. And it's not really hugely interesting, but it is a part of the process that has to be done. The other lines, the lines, for example, on the wave, in the middle of the white wave, you see various patterns. I don't need to trace those. I can take a copy from the Photoshop file that I have. But what I do need to trace to carve the key block, which won't be black, the key block will be teal blue, we need to trace the edge of this waves. Well, I'm zoomed in to trace, of course. If I zoom out, I won't be able to see what's going on. I'm sorry. I've got to be able to see what's happening here. That was supposed to be an eraser. Well, it's funny, I turn the pad around upside down, but for everybody else, it's always the same size. Yeah, so. Anyway, the story, as I said, we finally did get a hold of Okada-san's family, and it's incredible how we did it. They are really, really private, and there's no web pages, there's no nothing, there's no information about Okada-san anywhere on the internet. We found, after he died a year ago, we found a blog post by a lady author. She had written a mystery story, which Okada-san had illustrated some years ago. And after working together, they had become friends and corresponded. And after he died, After he died, she wrote a blog post about this. So my friend Okada-san has finally passed away, blah, 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 blah. And Google turned up this blog post. So when we were Googling for Okada-san, there was all kinds of stuff about his history, but almost nothing about like what's going on right now. So we rewrote to her blog. The only way to get in touch with her, she was an anonymous person, but had a blog with no real name. I made a comment on her blog post. And of course, it got caught as spam and didn't show up. So whatever, we persevered. I got somebody else to write from a different computer in Japanese, and we commented on her blog post saying, we at Mokuhankan would like to get a hold of her. Please contact us. And she wrote to our website and contacted us. And that was the beginning of the chain. She explained, she introduced us to a nursing aide in a hospital where he had been staying. He, of course, refused to give us any private information. Of course, that's the normal way of thing. And everybody at every stage of the line said, I can't talk to you. It's private. I can't give you somebody's name and address. Or she's in the hospital. We can't talk to you. And we explained, we're not evil. We're not trying to do anything bad. Please just pass my information on to the next person in the chain. You don't need me to tell me anybody's private info. Just pass my information on. And it got passed on bit by bit by bit by bit until one day, about 3 months ago, we got an email from the lawyer who is representing the family interests. So the chain, which could have snapped at any one of those places, all these people actually did. They passed on our information. And the lawyer wrote to us and said, okay, I'm taking care of the estate. What do you want? And the next step was to convince him that we were legit. So the way we did this, I had an actual letter from Okada-san, which I showed this in one of the previous videos. I had the actual letter from Okada-san saying, let's work together one day. And when the lawyer and the other family members saw this, that was the beginning of coming in. Oh, my mother's here, is she? Audio. How else can we do this audio? I don't know. Bye, Mom. See you later. Okay. Okay. There is something else too. Before I forget, please, I prepared some video. I know the other day on Monday's stream, I told you about a job. I have to prepare this year's series, the image for the 4th print in this year's series. And I did it and sent it off to Kawasaki-san. But I couldn't do it on the stream. So I took video. I have video prepared to show you of the pasting of the hanshita and the design for the 4th print. Someone's asking, use the Mac mic. I can do that, but let's try. We have fans. Let me just try for a second. I'll turn this mic off and I'll put the Mac mic on. Back to this. No. Nope, 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 nope. You're back now, right? Major audio, height testing, 1, 2, 3. Yep, we're back to normal. I expected video problems, didn't expect audio problems. So, someone's noticed that. Koringami has seen this. Did you see this? In the two places here. Let me erase those and do those again. Hang on a sec. There's two places where the people who made this previous version have actually made a mistake. There's two places here. Can you see it? Those two little tips? See if I can zoom in. Look at this. This is actually an error on a previous version. The outline runs to the end of each of these white lines. Look at that. You can see it's in there. There is a red line inside there, and yet the blue comes over the top of it. Look at that. There's a mistake. I had never noticed that before. I've looked at this print a lot, studying, getting ready for this project, but I never noticed that. what might not be obvious here is the red line that I'm tracing here right now is going to be an actual line. We are going to carve what you see here as a red line. And looking at the image closely, there is a line there. You saw it. It cut through into those color zones. In fact, one place here you can see it. If you look on the left of the screen here, just below my picture there, the area right just below my face now, above the outside camera, you can see part of where that line becomes visible by itself. It's the line that defines the edge of the overhanging wave. And we will carve a block for that line, and that will separate all the colors apart. The key line is the same color as the lightest of the teal lines. Good morning, Jacques. Jacques is here from the Netherlands. Good morning, guys. So Jacques and I have had a lot of experience in previous years with the Okada-san prints. Jacques is a big fan of the Okada-san prints. He's probably not so happy that I'm doing this one. He would rather I did something, I think, more generally attractive. But we do. We intend to make many Okada prints over the years to come, but we're simply going to start with this one. So what are we going to use to make the teal color? Well, it'll be a mix of blue and yellow with a tiny bit of black in there. What else can I say at this point? Which blue? We'll probably be using the lake, a blue lake, and then various amounts of green in it to build up and up and up to make the teal. It's not a difficult color to make. So this is Jacques. Looking forward to seeing your upcoming later Okada Yoshio prints. It's so cute. One idea, and this has been discussed already. The family member that we are in contact with is Okada-san's nephew. He's the one who is now basically running the estate. He doesn't want to be publicized at all. He won't be any public part of any public conversation at all. But we discussed with him what kind of projects we would like to do. And the goal project for this Okada-san cooperation thing. It's not single prints so much like this. The idea is a set of 12 pulled from Okada-san's various works, a subscription set in one of the upcoming years. It won't be next year. It probably won't even be the year after that. But 2 or 3 or 4 years down the road, one of our subscription sets will be a set of small designs showing an overview of Okada-san's work. There will be prints from designs from the Genji. There will be kabuki stuff. There will be maybe something semi-erotic. We're going to show an overview of Okada-san's life. Now, I can't do that right now. Obviously, this year is set. Next year is set. The year after that is sort of coming together. So it'll probably be 3 years down the road before we can get enough, get it together to be able to do that. But that's the goal, is a good overview of Okada-san's life and work in a subscription set. Any plans on making full-size prints? The kind of prints like the Genji ones you saw, that's beyond our capability at this point. I can't print that way. None of our people up here can print that way. We could cut some blocks. Well, no, we don't have any wood. So there are going to be no continuation of the Genji prints at that size and scope. It's just not possible. Back in the 1970s, it was doable. Here in the 2020s, it's not doable. If we can build to that level, wonderful. No promises. I'm sorry. A print like this, we can handle. A smaller scale subscription set, we can handle. The Genji prints, there's no point in fooling around. I'm sorry. It's just beyond our capabilities. Bit of misregistration on the original printer. You can see the surfboard coming out here. Well, someone said a Kickstarter for prints would be a safe way. It's not a question of money. Money is not a problem here now in any of these things. Our business is doing very well. We have a good flow of business. We have the money to finance the projects we want to make. Money at the moment is not a factor. The limiting factor now for Mokuhankan on all the things we do is our resources. Carving time, carving ability, printing ability. Kubota-san could print one of those. Yeah, maybe. But he's 70x years old. I can't plan on that for the future. Okay, lots of questions. The surfer board here, the surfing board, the color on the surfboard. This is interesting. First question is this brushed or is this carved? The texture that you see here. I at first thought it was carved, but that's wrong. What you see here is a brushed texture because we've seen more than one copy of this thing and it's different on every one. What we are going to do, we want to get more consistency in our prints. We are going to carve a pattern on this surfboard. This area here, this area, where am I? This area here that you see, the little red squirrel here, we are going to carve a wood grain pattern there on the surfboard. There's also interesting, a gradation at the bottom. Look at this area. There's a gradation there. That's going to be fun on the colored blocks doing that. This print is not going to be simple. This is going to be a complex print. Nuno Mezzuri, no. There's no textured patterns here. This is simply, there's no physical embossed pattern here. Yeah, John's point is brush strokes the way they applied the pigment. And what we're going to do, I think, we're going to do a base tone and a pattern tone, and we're going to try also the same thing. We're going to try also to use brush strokes that will leave a model pattern. But I want to get it a bit more stable and consistent. And there's another idea here, somebody saying abnormal somebody. Find a wood block, dig around to find a wood block that has the grain pattern that we want here, and then print that pattern. That is an idea, and it is a thing that is done sometimes, but the idea that we could find a piece of wood that will match exactly what we want and be able to print it properly, that's just not going to happen. So we're going to carve the pattern that we want. It's very, very common to do it this way. Someone's asking, do we need a waiting list for this? I don't think we're going to be running waiting lists on this print. It's just going to be another print in our catalog. We're not expecting a massive, great wave thought about this. Not at all. Not at all. This is another part. The thing that you see here, I'll circle it here. What do you call it? The rock gum. This was applied when Okada-san was still alive. And same with the Genji prints that we have. Okada-san supposedly looked at each one and put his stamp on. He is not here yet. We don't want to do that. So what we're going to do, we're talking to his nephew about the best way to do this. And the idea is that his nephew is going to look through Okada-san's leftover stuff, see if he can find a seal. And there's a few ideas. One is we send the prints to the nephew seals each one and sends them back. Or the second idea is we do it the old ukiyo-e style. We carve this into one of the blocks, and they just get printed from the wood blocks as traditional with the old ukiyo-e prints. We don't know. We haven't decided what to do yet. So. Doesn't look like much there, does it? So it's a big deal to copy the seal. Of course, that's it. We wouldn't normally copy the seal. That's what I said. That's why the discussion here, we're talking to the nephew about what he wants to do. And our own prints are not going to be limited editions. Our own prints are going to be a slightly different size from the previous one. The way that seals in the old days and seals these days are different. The seals in these days are trying to show, I'm the artist, I touched this print, it's mine, thank you, thank you. In the old days, it was just an identifier. That was Hiroshige, that was Hokusai. Okada-san's now gone, so in my mind, it's just an identifier. We would rather carve the seal in the wood so it gets printed. To put the seal on from the front, this sounds like something the designer should do. And we're not in that position. So. Someone's suggesting we should be an adult site. I don't think so. We've done much more difficult work than this before here on Twitch. There's no nudity here. There's no sex here. This is just a picture. Yeah, just kidding, whatever. Who knows? There's something else too. The line work on this print. This is Okada-san's work is interesting in this. When we normally carve ukiyo-e prints, the work was done in the original. It was done with a brush, a fude. The lines swell and shrink, and they are kind of like calligraphy. Okada-san refused to use a brush. He didn't use a brush for any of his inking or his line work. He used pens, what do you call it, like draftsman's pens. So for us to do this as well, it's going to be a bit different for me. Rather than carve lines that have this flowing stuff, I'm carving pen lines, and they're kind of a bit cold compared to the stuff that we normally carve. So today my job here is just simply to put the line basically in place, and then later on when I'm actually doing the block with the knife, this is where any semblance of taste comes in. I can't draw it with this, but I can hopefully cut something with this. This will put the smoothness into the lines. Tom's saying, am I saying the lines are boring? Compared to a calligraphic line, they are thin and clean. They're not totally without taste, but they are just simply lines. And on his later stuff, this is really early for him. On his later stuff, they're just straight. There's no flow, there's no flux, there's no smoothness, and they're a bit jaggy as he got older. So his later lines are really, really, really ugly. And we're going to have to decide how much to clean them up. I don't know. Anyway, so whatever. So my job today simply is this. It's just to put the position of these lines onto the paper, and then later on, with the block, have a go at carving something that looks nice. We'll see. So someone says, I think they are meh. The lines have no taste by themselves. This one is all about the image and the drama, of course. Does the print have a title? They didn't give it a, Okada-san didn't give it a title. It's just generically known as the Surfer Girl. Okada-san's Surfer Girl. Yeah. Surfer Girl, lady, girl, I don't know. So, good question. Someone's asking here. I was tracing the teal before. Now I'm tracing her arm before. These will be, of course, on two different blocks. But to make sure it's all going to mesh and make sure it's all going to line up properly, I'm going to trace them all onto one single master outline drawing. Then paste it down on two different blocks. The teal lines get carved on the teal block. The black lines get carved on the black line. But the master copy is going to have everything on one line, on one block, one piece of block. Do we need to draw ear here? Is that your question? Does she need a line there? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, the hunched video. Thank you for reminding me. The hunched video. The hunched video. Okay. Is the audio better? Still worse? I don't know. Okay. You can see the deal here. I'm sitting with the iPad. The iPad was casting to OBS, and there's a window in OBS. Put it up or take it down, whatever. The hunched video. Okay, we have three short clips. 1, 2, 3. We are going to see the fourth print in this year's series getting pasted down. I have no idea. I recorded it quietly. Let's see what happens. I should be able to. Okay. It used to be a fan print. Here's the other half. It was a large fan print. Chopped in half. Part 1. Too much. Yes, jazz design. Yes. Yes. Is my voice still there or not? Is that audio? Can you hear me? Ah, Sok, I forgot. You could. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. Yes, of course, of course, of course. Okay. What you saw first then was the key block, the outlines. And this one is a block for an embossed pattern, karazuri, on the scales. The dragon has scales, the dragons have scales, and this will be on a separate block. And the block is an old, this is not a plywood block, this is an old No core. It's on solid wood this time around. Yeah, embossed dragon scales. Konjaski, why did I choose this? Because I don't have anything. Upstairs we have no good hard wood. I was desperate. We're going to cut this. This is going to slice 1, 2, 3. But yesterday I had no time. Just go. Okay, there we have it. Okay, there we have it. And we'll be doing this more often, you know. I've got to do work when the stream is not here, but it had to be done. Kawasaki-san had to get started carving. A couple of things about that. People are saying, go easy on the spray. I get it, I get it. But, if this is too weak, remember, I had to do the printing here at the 7-Eleven. And this is dangerous. At the 7-Eleven, you're supposed to put your money in and take a copy. What I'm doing is I wait till the clerks are not watching, and I put my paper inside the machine. And if that Gampi paper is loose, and if it comes off inside that copy machine, I am in big, big, big trouble. So I have got to spray this on tightly. Tightly. So at peel time, sometimes too much comes off when I peel. So I got no choice. If I was printing here, but I got no laser printer. So just keep in mind, there's a reason for me using this. Maybe we're okay. You know, that's the reason. That's the reason for this. So. We need an A3. We need an A3 printer, and we need a high quality laser, because normal laser printers, the laser printers you get from Epson to sit in your office, they don't print X and Y at the same dimension. They stretch. Y is longer than X. You test it out. Get yourself a Photoshop file, 10 by 10 little cubes, print it on your laser, and you'll see it's almost certainly not going to be 10 by 10. It's going to be 10.1 by 9.9. They don't print what the original file is supposed to be. I'm okay. We got it worked out, but things are what they are. Okay, now, do we do a show and tell with this bad microphone? Can I talk? Can you hear what I'm saying? I don't really know what's going on here. Yes, let's do a show and tell. Okay. Okay, a couple of things. Before show and tell, let's look at this. This is the other half of the piece of wood that I used for that. You can see where I chopped it in half yesterday. It's a block. We don't know when it's from. It's pre-war, early Showa, Taisho. It was just a junk fan print. You can see the registration here. And it would have been a fan on the block like this. And it's a Senshafta type of fan. People's names and stuff like this. It's of no interest whatsoever. So the idea would have been to cut it in three, 1, 2, 3, and get both sides plus an extra piece. But yesterday I just had no time. So upstairs we got it in a planer, cut it in half, threw it through the planer, sanded it off, dressed it down, tested to see if it's going to be hard enough. Did a bit of testing, and it seems okay. So we ran it through. Someone's talking about money and not having an adequate printer. We're okay. We're okay. We're not looking for money. We have it. What we need is human resources, not money. Relax, relax. The printing shop at the convenience store is a super, super high quality printer. It's way better than anything I could buy here. We're not looking for money, please. I'm okay with a 7. They know who I am. They know. Oh, here's that foreigner again. Look the other way. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay, before I open this, pause, and let's go back 2 months to a previous show and tell. Do you remember this? This arrived a couple of months ago. And what it is, we're just going to look at it for 1 minute. This is a Taisho era. I got my note here. Where are we? Taisho era, 1912 to 1914 set of magazines. And the magazines were about ukiyo-e and arts in general. They're not made from woodblock prints, but the illustrations were all made of woodblock prints, and the magazines have lots of woodblock prints actually stuck inside them. We scored this wonderful, wonderful set from 1912 to 1914. I had known that the magazine started back in the Meiji time before that, but I had never seen any copies. You know where this is going now. We have here, finally, some Meiji copies of this magazine. The magazine is called Konohana. And this is not a single book here. This is a collection of individual issues of the magazine. And again, no green tape. Japan has lost its green tape. ho, 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 ho. Okay, these are from Meiji 43 to Meiji 45. This is 1910 to 1912. It's a collection of individual issues of a magazine. And this is a quiet treasure. Just for example, here, there's some of them are taken apart. Just a moment. Here. Here's how they were issued with binding, thread binding, holding them together. But these first few copies have been taken apart. The thread has been removed. And the illustrations, all the illustrations you see, were carved by carvers, but printed in a printing press together with the rest of the magazine. We see things like this. You'll see type, and images together. And the body of the magazine is in metal type. And in fact, you can see this is not offset. This is metal type. It's all embossed. But all the images are carved on wood and run in the press. You can see this is ink. This is not our normal pigment. It's a carved block, but you can see that the faint outline where the ink has blurred. And the magazine is a magazine of general arts and culture with specific interest in the old ukiyo-e. And I wouldn't be able to read this if I didn't know what it says. It's kono hana. And these are really, really quite rare, very nice. And we have a batch of them here now, very, very beautifully preserved. Let's have a look inside. Actually, it's a bit difficult for me to grab. Let's get one that's bound together. We are going to see tipped in. Look at these. Look at these. Feature story on 4 current ukiyo-e artists and how they draw faces and hair differently. Interesting. This is such a gold mine. This is an era when so many illustrators were still working. And here's an example of how 4 different illustrators. Look at this. And here we are. We have Tsukioka Yoshitoshi, sample of his work. We have Mizuno Toshikata, a sample of his work. Not sure if I'll be able to read all of these. This is such a gold mine for research, you know. I can't sit here chapter and verse and be able to read everything to you. Look at this. How'd you like to go down to your local bookstore, buy a magazine, the story. It's about ukiyo-e, different styles of ukiyo-e drawing. And this one's called naga-e, long pictures. I wonder why. You try drawing a design to fit into that framework, x times 10y. How do you draw a picture that has sense in that kind of a framework? Actually, I see a comment here. Let me step back a sec. John's making a comment. The pictures we saw just a moment ago, the 4, John says the one on the right looks like the scent of chrysanthemums lady. That's Kajita Hanko. And there's a name here I can't read, but it's Kajita. It's not Kajita Hanko. It must be somebody from the same group. We have Kajita, and I can't read this, I'm sorry. Kanetaro? I don't know, I'm sorry. So there's absolutely no doubt about it. We have designer there from the same group of artists, absolutely. Ah, look at this. Different ways to draw foreigners. This is a gold mine. Different ways to draw foreigners. Look at that nose. Boy, I got one like that. Ikokujin. They're not contemporary. They're referring to historical imagery here. They're taking images from the past and showing how foreigners were shown in the old days. My God, there's such an incredible treasure of material here. Absolutely. This must be a story about Hiroshige. This is Hiroshige's famous death portrait. Oh, this is a switch. Look at this. This is not a woodblock print. This is a litho. This is lithography. Look at the colors, how bright. They must have been so spectacularly impressed with this. This part of it is not woodblock. Neither is this. So this two-page insert, this must be a two-page insert done in color lithography. Okay. What's our title here? Rikiryu no How? No idea. No idea. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. It's just a treasure house. Top to bottom, it's a treasure house. I have no idea. This thing, just as much time as you want to spend reading it and browsing through this and trying to figure out what it's all about. I don't know. Well, this one's woodblock. Interesting. So it must have changed month by month. The color insert in each one. The color insert in the previous magazine we saw was color lithography. The color insert in this issue of the magazine is an actual woodblock print. And the story is about Utamaro, Kitagawa Utamaro. There's a story and discussion. And here's the print. So these books are not for sale. We will be keeping these absolutely. I myself can't sit here and read them and study them and research them. But we're going to simply hold them here in our collection, and as time goes by, we'll make this stuff available to people who do want to research this and find out what it's about and what this was all going on. I myself will never have time to do this research, nor do I honestly have the interest. My interest is in printmaking. But to make these available for people who do want to see what's going on and what was going on and how it worked and all that stuff, I'm happily going to be a custodian of this stuff. I mean, what's the story in this woodblock print? I really don't know. Are they her kids? I don't know. I think they're kids, I guess. I don't know. Caption contest. And again, I'm opening these for the first time here. I knew they existed. I've never had a chance to browse through them. I can't tell you what kind of detail. I mean, here, a story. This is interesting. Look at this. Who would be interested? Why would they publish a magazine like this? It's a story about ombu. In the world of ukiyo-e prints, different ways that people were depicted being carried piggyback. I mean, there you have it, a theme. And there's reference to when the picture was made and what this cut, different approaches to carrying piggyback in the history of Japanese ukiyo-e. And they're all dated. Temmei Hachinen, the 8th year of the Temmei era. This is Suzuki Harunobu. So it's a different, it's a survey of how people are carried piggyback in Japanese art over different years. What a bizarre magazine. An absolutely insane magazine. And people must have subscribed to this. This was a very, very popular magazine of the day. The Meiji era, I guess they went out of business at some point, and then it was refreshed in the Taisho era with the other copies that we have in the other book there, the 24. Oh, another one. Look at this. It's just delightful, front to back, top to bottom. I would love to be able to read this thing and know what on earth was going on. So someone said, imagine the research to put this together. My God, how did you do this? How could you put all this stuff together? We have an Aizuri-e, an indigo print. This is a woodblock print too. Descending geese and autumn moon all tied together. It's Hiroshige, Utagawa Hiroshige, and also we can see the Hiro. The name of his handle name is tied into the lanterns. So even if it wasn't signed, we would know who did this. Returning sails. So maybe it's everything. Clearing weather, evening sails, descending geese, returning moon, whatever. They're all mixed together. Evening bell. Is there a bell there? Maybe. I don't know. Everything but the snow. A fascinating treasure trove. What's he got? Has he got her name like tattooed on his arm? I don't know. You tell me. The story is about the names and rankings of ukiyo-e artists, how the names were passed around in groups and stuff. So the magazine really is, although it's a general culture magazine, it's heavily based towards working with ukiyo-e. I guess it's a feature, must be every month. They did a feature on the 4 different ways to show women by contemporary artists. What an absolute treasure trove. And the printing quality is fantastic too. Okay, actually, I think these magazines were not done in a million copies of each one. And these blocks, this is a carved block, and it is sharp, sharp as could possibly be. The carving here is magnificent. It would have been carved on a block that was type high and put in the printing press together with the type and printed at the same time. The same as was done in Europe. A juggler show, I guess, is it? You tell me what's going on. It's obviously there's a banquet happening, there's food, there's a bream. It's a very expensive banquet happening. There's entertainment. And this kind of juggling show, I guess, no idea. Shimbo, I don't know what it means. Okay, anyway, there it is. And it just, there's a stack that just goes on and on and on and on. It's, I mean, I myself will never get into this stuff. I will never, there's things here I will never see. I just can't do it. But as I said, we've got these in our repository. Mokuhankan will make these things available as people need this and need the research and need to find out what's going on in here. Part of our collection. We can't put all of this online. We will be shooting various bits and pieces of it to photograph just to get it online so that people know it's here. And then people that have a need or a desire or an interest in researching this and getting in on this, call us, get over here, and we will make it available. Someone's asking, no, they were carved. They were carved with this kind of a knife. You can see the marks everywhere. This is not engraved like they were in Europe. They were carved on the plank like you see with this knife. Okay, now it's Thursday. I get another stream in 2 days. I will work on the technical problems. I will still be doing more tracing, maybe, or maybe I will have put it down and I'll be carving. That'll be happening soon. I will try and work on the technical problems. Last night I tested the video. I didn't test the audio. I'm sorry. I thought my problem was with the video casting. Whatever, I can do what I can do. Here we go. Let's get outside for a minute to sign off with. Let's have a look. Out we go. We have a very nice rocket ship floater today. Away we go. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks very much. I'll see you in a couple of days, hopefully with a bit more relaxed stream. Thank you very much for your patience with me. Bye for now.